Hi there guys, welcome back to the channel. It's time for another Palace preview. International break is over. Game coming up, Palace away to Spurs. I'm joined by George. Hello mate.
Hello, how you doing?
You probably know him, most of my viewers probably know through 90 Min, but maybe
Nice
some of
you
you
again.
through Imperial Wolf as well. Yeah, debut.
Exactly.
I had my debut on his channel, that was your debut on mine. I'm sure, yeah.
I'm excited, I'm excited.
Start
Hello
with something
guys.
new here. Here we go. Spurs at the weekend.
Yes.
A game I'm looking forward to. I was there obviously last year, loved it, and it was a great opening to your new stadium as well.
Definitely was.
Great experience for sure. Not so much the result for us, but it was a great game to be at. Let's kick off. Let's go straight into it. So going into this game, your thoughts on Spurs and just how you're going to approach this game.
It's been a weird one for us. It's been quite like a rocky start, but not like a terrible one. It's strange. Like obviously we kicked off with a win against Villa. We then got a draw away to City, which by all means is a fantastic result. And then started to go a bit downhill from there. We got Newcastle obviously lost at home, which again we should not be losing.
That was a shock. I don't know, like, for everyone.
Yeah, especially since like we are supposedly trying to be going for the league, trying to be going for all this now. To lose those kind of games this early on is a massive hindrance.
Because City and Liverpool almost changed the way you now approach a league. Because if you can almost not drop points anywhere. If you drop points at all, then it's all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're going to run away with it.
Yeah,
it's
the fact that they were first and second with 97 and 96 or like 98, 97 points is absolutely crazy. So now, like any drop points just feels like feels like a loss.
FIFA or something.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, then obviously the North London derby wasn't particularly great. Like it's a decent result in the grand scheme.
You would have taken that before the game started.
Yeah, before the game I would have taken a draw. But I think it's more the point that we were 2-0 up. Like we had every right to then just finish that game off, and we didn't. So to throw
winning
that
at
away.
the Emirates and the Etihad isn't for everyone.
Oh, I see. Well, okay.
It's the only time I could ever say that. We won at the Emirates last year at the Etihad. I'm never going to be able to say that again, I don't think. We'll take that one.
Well, hopefully you do that again this year. Well, that's what we want to see. But yeah, I think it's a tough. It's a point to prove this weekend, and I think we desperately need to get back onto winning ways. So I think we're kind of going to go all out and kind of secure those 3 points.
Yeah. Well, you're saying you're on 5 points at the moment, right?
5 points at the moment.
5 points, 2 behind Palace, but of course only 4 games in. You can't really read too much into the table at this point.
I mean, what was like Wolves and like Leicester were like leading the table like last year or something like that.
At this point, or something like that.
Yeah, loads of teams just. It's hard to judge after the first month.
Absolutely. Obviously, you're looking at Palace's point of view. Amazing start to the season for us, and obviously Palace fans will agree with me that we don't typically start the season well. And going into this, players like Jordan Ayew have surprised a lot of people. How he's performed in particular, getting goals, which wasn't what he did last year. He was very, very poor last year. I think everyone would agree on that. And obviously players like Cahill coming in, and he's been amazingly solid at the back, and that's been really impressive to see actually. It ended up being a really good signing because there were some ifs or buts over him when he first arrived. I was quite happy about him, and I think he could have done a job still in one of the European teams. But he's been brilliant, and then I think it's great to see us start well, because for teams around like Palace who are mid-table, lower mid-table, it's so important you get off to a good start and that you pull away from that relegation zone early, because you don't want to. We're typically always in and around there by like Christmas, and then it's second half of the season we pull away. So basically, by starting really well this season means this games like this we got less pressure to get results. So we go into this really, as I said, no pressure, have a free swing at it, and we can see what happens. That's I think the mentality that the team will have going into this. Use our counter attacking to our advantage, hopefully. If we're going to go into like lineups, predicted lineups, because obviously we were talking on George's video about our transfer windows and how there were some frustrations in certain positions that our clubs didn't get in specific players. So how would you say you line up going into this one?
I think lining up we're going to go for like I think 4-2-3-1 or like a 4-3-3 formation. It's kind
Similar
of like what we've been going for recently. I think obviously Lloris in goal. I think pretty much a standard back four of Rose, Vertonghen, Toby, and I think Kyle Walker-Peters. He did get injured against Newcastle, but supposedly he's back training this week, so I think it'd be good to see him back in the side. Middle three, roughly, I think it will be about Ndombele, Sissoko, and Eriksen, is what I'd like to see. Winks again is another player that we could probably throw into the mix. Maybe if Ndombele is not quite as fit,
of course.
obviously he's only just returned as well. Maybe it'll be Winks, Sissoko, Eriksen.
And
then I think a front three probably of Son, Kane, and Dele Alli or Lucas for that final spot. But
who would you prefer in that final spot?
I think that final spot for this game, I'd like to see Dele Alli. because I'd like to see him start getting back into the team, first team, getting back to his top form that I know that he can get, and we all know he loves a Crystal Palace game. So.
Still have nightmares over that bloody volley. Jesus Christ.
That's what my dreams are made of. But so I think I'd like to see him in it, and I think Lucas is a brilliant impact sub. Like the amount of goals he scored. I mean, Etihad had a kill after like 18 seconds. He scored. He's brilliant coming off. So I think it'd be good to probably start Dele Alli, and I think that's how we'll line up.
It'd be just interesting for me to know, and I'm sure Palace fans as well watching. How do you think Spurs will approach the game? Like, where do you think you will target? If off the top of your head, is there one area on the pitch that you think will go there, or will tactically how would you approach Palace?
I think given what you're saying before about the whole fact that we both got right backs, that the right back area is kind of like I guess you could
probably
say
a
weaker points. And I think
especially
I think especially with how great Son is as a player as well on our left side, I think it's definitely kind of an area that we're going to target and use him more. Because I don't think he hasn't obviously started terribly, but I don't think Son started the season off amazing. Obviously missed the first couple of games because of his ban, but even then the past 2 games he hasn't been great at all. So I think he's another player that needs to start getting back into form a bit, and I think with that being like your kind of weaker area, I think it's a good kind of target point for him to start getting back in form and hopefully get a couple of goals. So I think that kind of area as well.
I agree there. And you mentioned as well, Kyle Walker-Peters had a bit of a slow start to the season as well, and needs time in the team. I think a game playing Palace is a good chance for this, and Dele Alli, of course, to get themselves going. And almost it's like a second start to the season, if you like international break. You've had a week off.
Chance
to
like
start the season again. So it normally can go into certain teams' advantage, or if you're on a good run of form, you have that break, it can obviously go against you. So it will be interesting to see how that pans out. For us, I think it's obvious we'll sit back, look to counter-attack. I think it'll be very similar to the way we played against Man United. So obviously, if I just run through what my lineup would be, I think it would be. I think Saka comes back into the back 4 for us, and we'd have same players that played against Villa. So Van Aanholt, Cahill, Sacco, and probably Joel Ward at the right back as well. Just ahead, stick with the 3 that's done very well in the last couple of games. So you have Milivojevic, hopefully get a penalty there. It'd be nice to see him bang one in at Spurs.
Absolute penalty merchant.
Exactly, Chiarte and MacArthur, they've been great the last couple of games, those 3. And then obviously up front, you'd have the front 3, Jordan Ayew in the middle, Zaha Townsend either side. Maybe Jeffrey Schlupp could start, but I think Townsend would start ahead of him right now. And as I said, that team in the last couple of games, you can't really fault them, really. We dominated Villa.
Done very well.
We're amazing away at United, seeing as we never do well away at United. And I could just see us sitting back deep again. Look, it's all going to be about patience, I think, for Spurs.
Definitely.
I think it's how you approach that, and if you start getting frustrated, maybe playing a bit more direct, and I think that will play into our hands.
Yeah, I think it definitely benefits you. We've struggled a lot against teams that kind of sit back and then hit on a counter. I mean, it happened with Newcastle. We lost that game. They just sat back. We got frustrated. We didn't really know how to approach it. It was a lot of balls left and right. Couldn't really break down the defence. So I think if you kind of go that way, it would definitely help you out.
On the Palace point of view as well, that was very similar to the United game. They were very left and right, couldn't really find that killer pass, got frustrated. And obviously when we went, it's all about going ahead, I think, in one of these games. If we go ahead early, that adds to the frustration.
And that's kind of what happened with Villa in our first game. I mean, obviously we overturned it, we tactically changed a bit, but it was a similar kind of thing. It was sitting back a bit, and then they just one ball over, suddenly they were 1-0 up. And then we were trailing, and then we had to kind of switch it up tactically to try and get that win again. So I think
that bit of technical class, which I think Dombele's goal was very good,
that was a
great
goal. And I think Eriksen coming on kind of gave that bit more creativity that we needed. So I think if we do go 1-0 down, I think we're going to have to probably do the similar kind of thing, switch up a bit, maybe bring some more creative players on.
Yeah, for sure.
Lucas, again, another impact sub, like I was saying.
It's always scary because
there's definitely options that we have, which
you've
is
got
good.
more options than United, for sure, because it was weird, because when United started making subs to bring players on in a change of the game, you didn't really get that sense of like fear, like, oh my God, these players are coming off the bench. It just shows their depth.
It's not like the old
Spurs,
United.
I think I think you've got better options than United coming off the bench to change your game.
I'd agree with that.
So it's a nervy one. If I was going to predict the score right now, obviously I'd hope we can keep this good run of form going and we could snatch a draw, maybe a 1-1, 2-2. That's what I'd like to think. But realistically, to do it again after the performance away at United, to then follow that up with another away performance against the top team in the country, and to do the same thing and try and get a result is going to be very difficult.
Very hard.
It's going to be very hard. We've got to have a perfect game again. And in your score prediction, if you had to,
I think I'd probably go for a 3-1 Spurs win. I definitely think we're going to concede. It's one of those games.
I'd like to see us score.
Yeah, whether we get Milivojevic penalty or not, which, well, if we do concede and win, I'd hope that is the case because he's in my fantasy team. But
it's actually a point we didn't touch on. The VAR in general, it's been very prominent in your games.
Yeah,
and
we have involved in almost every single one, really.
and it was heavily, well, I wouldn't say heavily involved, but there've been controversy in our games because there was obviously Jack Grealish dive that was awarded when we played Villa. They ended up scoring last minute, and it was cancelled out for a dive by Grealish, which wasn't a dive.
No.
And VAR checked it, or couldn't check it because the ref already blowed the whistle. So there's been controversy already this season.
Around.
So obviously you never know. VAR could do a curveball, and so either side could get benefited. Or
and I think that's the one good thing about it, is that it kind of like it kind of brings a new dynamic to the game. Yeah. I guess like you don't really know what to expect. Yeah, I mean every single game it's either been good, it's been great, it's been terrible. Like we don't even know what to expect with VAR. It's one week is our best friend, the next week we hate it. It's like it's going to be interesting. But hopefully nothing that controversial happens this weekend.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully, game of football.
Hopefully Palace continue their good run of form. Hopefully, for your point of view, Spurs fans watching, you get a result.
Get our wins back.
Get your season going. That'll be the aim for you guys. Obviously, comment your thoughts down below. Score predictions, please, guys. I will have obviously George's channel details and social media in the comment section below, or description below. Go and follow him up. Thank you very much, George.
No, thank you.
Enjoy the game. If you're there as well, guys, comment below your thoughts on the game. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time.